Hey YouTube, GunMonkey5 here. Today we're going to be doing a review on 3 dual-headed flashlights. Now, first off, I want to start off with saying that, hey, I haven't done a YouTube review video in a very long time, so please don't go too hard on me. If there's anything that needs to be corrected or any mistakes that I made, message below. And, obviously I'm trying to get into the YouTube game, so it's been a while. So, like and subscribe this video. So go ahead and moving on. So the purpose of this video is really to showcase the Olight Odin IR. It's the newest, at the time of me making this is the newest IR illuminator to the game, as well as a very budget friendly one too. So I don't know if you guys know, Olight has kind of been making its way into the market as almost a budget light for a lot of guns, and has been very successful, might I add. They are competing with Surefire in pistol mounted lights as well as weapon mounted lights, and have a pretty decent following. So I purchased this. All these have been purchased on my own dime, by the way. Besides this one, I'll explain to you in a second. Purchased this on my own dime. That way, it's not really a biased review. The other purpose behind this video is really to give you guys kind of a rough idea as to what light is appropriate for what application, whether it's recreational / airsoft, budget, home defense / getting into night vision kind of thing, as well as we're going to be getting into the professional / kind of military use. So we're going to cover, I have a little cheat sheet of notes there, so if you see me pause, I'm kind of looking at it. We're going to be covering the cost of it, the weight, the material, the origin of manufacture, the specifics on visible as well as IR illumination, the type of battery it uses, and whether it's waterproof or not. So like I said, from my left to your right is from cheapest to most expensive. I'm going to start off with the first one, which is the TGPUL M600V clone. So yes, this is a clone based off of the Surefire M600V. This is an airsoft clone. This does have IR capabilities. So starting off with the cost, this costed $72 brand new from eBay. The company TGPUL, I tried looking up their website if they had one. They didn't really have one. It's mainly a eBay based company, so keep that in mind. The weight is 100 grams without the battery. The material is a aluminum type 3 hard anodized. So also the specs for this one might not be correct. Keep that in mind because there's no way to really prove it because they don't have a website or any way to contact them besides through eBay. Obviously, origin of manufacturer is from China. This shipped from China. It took a little bit of time to get it. For the visible spectrum for illumination, it has a white light that's capable of 400 lumens at 1.5 hours. For IR illuminator, it is a 120 milliwatt IR illuminator. Battery uses 2 CR123A, or what I did is instead of buying CR123A batteries, I just got these 16650 2500 milliamp stick batteries that replace 2 CR123A batteries. And for waterproof, it doesn't say. It has O-rings in there, and if it's a copy of the Surefire, I would assume that this would have that capability, but I wouldn't trust it. So I took this actually apart and brought it to work and tried putting it on my patrol rifle because we utilize the Surefire Scout lights, and they fit, but they're very loose. So I forgot which way it is, but I put the genuine parts on here and it was very loose. And then I tried putting these parts, the tail cap and the head, on the genuine Surefire, and it didn't fit, or vice versa. I don't remember what it is. So going into it, typical. So this is an actual genuine. Let me put this battery in here so I can show you guys. This is a genuine Surefire tail pressure pad. So it obviously works. Boop, 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 boop. But as you could tell, it looks very genuine. Surefire Scout Light. Doesn't even say M600V, just says Scout Light. Even has the markings on there. The knurling is kind of weird, but I digress. So this does have 3 modes. So you have your off to prevent your accidental discharge of light. You have your white light. And then you also have your IR light. I don't know if you can see that. So the way this works is as you turn the head, it rotates the bulb inside of it, inside of the head. And it's actually the whole head that turns, right? And the weird thing is, I don't know if you could tell, but the cone is kind of off center. So that's kind of obviously what you get for paying for a $72 light. Does it work? It works, but we'll get to it when I show you guys what it looks like under night vision. You'll start to notice that with these cheapo China brand lights, they the bulbs aren't really centered, so you're gonna have some sort of shadowing. It's not gonna be a perfect illumination. There's gonna be like some shadows in it based off of the bulb not being centered when you actually turn the head. The next one we're gonna go into is obviously the Odin IR. This one is pretty cool. So the Odin IR light, I bought it brand new for $170 from their website. I think there was maybe a promotional code going on and it was maybe cheaper, like $150, but nonetheless, it is 217 grams, so it's significantly heavier than this guy. It uses an aluminum alloy. The origin of manufacture, they say, is from China, but based on looking at these two and feeling these two and playing with them, I feel like this one is way much better quality than this one. And I mean, obviously comes in the price. It's $100 more than this guy, so it's gonna be a little bit more money. And the difference also between the two is here they actually have US based support. I've spoken with them and sent them emails and contacted them, and they've they've replied back to me. At least I think it's US based support. Could be lying. Don't hate me if I am, but there is a website, there is support for it, so you can do that, and they have warranties and stuff like that. So this one is where it kind of changes. You had a 400 lumen visible light on here. This one is from 200 to 1000 lumens. So you're gonna see when we bring these all outside under the visible light, these are not going to be able to really reach and punch out as far. This one will. And with the 1000 on the 1000 lumen setting, it is a 38,960 candela. So what does that mean is that it has a very focused beam, because you know, it's not really about lumens as so much as to how focused the beam can be. So this one's 38,960 candela. It's a pretty tight beam pattern and has a pretty nice light spill around it, a pretty wide spill, but it's like a very it's a lightened spill. The most of the light is centered into the middle. So this goes between 200 to 1000 lumens. What you can do is if you do a light tap, it's low, and if you do a full press, it goes to 1000. And on the pressure pad, don't mind it, because I'm trying to actually work on figuring out how to adapt this to a Surefire switch so that I can link this into a Surefire switch or even a regular Steiner switch, so this you can run a pressure pad with the Odin IR for like your IR designator and the light. So I took this apart. I'm starting to work on it. I apologize, but normally you'd have this guy, this back one, which does the full power 1000 lumens, and then this button which is 200, the low. The issue becomes now that because it's such a high lumen output, it steps down when you use it. By stepping down, I mean like it's like the brightness reduces over time depending on how long you leave it on for. So when you put it on high on 1000 lumens, after 3 minutes, it's gonna step down to 450 lumens. and we'll run for 165 minutes. Then we'll step down again to a 200 lumen, which is the low setting, which will stay on for 22 minutes. And then the last but not least is the lowest setting, which is 120 lumens for 33 minutes until it goes kaput, and needs to be recharged. For the low setting, you can put it on low. Now keep in mind, these are visible. Low for 200 lumens for 493 minutes, and then it steps down to 120 for 35 minutes. 120 lumens for 35 minutes. Now for the IR also has a high and low. So for low, it's a 30 milliwatt IR illuminator, and the highest is a 150 milliwatt IR illuminator. So remember, this one was 120 allegedly. This one is 150 milliwatt, and plus you have that focus cone. So or the way the cone is, it's very focused. So you're gonna have a pretty tight IR illuminator. So it's gonna be able to push out very, very far, and even push out further to break those photonic barriers. So same way with the IR, you're not gonna be able to see it, but a light press is low, which is 30 milliwatts, and then a full press is 150 milliwatts. Or with this guy, actually I could probably show you on here. You press the small button, which, boop, I don't know if you can see that. Ooh. So that's low, and then that's high. So let's go ahead and talk about this. This thing's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. You mount it through here. You unscrew these two pieces right here and attach it onto your regular Picatinny rail. And then you can do it one of two ways. You can mount it directly on the side like that, or if you have it, say, mounted like this, you can even put it so that it runs at if you lock it in like this, you can put it in so it runs at, there you go, at a 45 degree next to your pec or your D-ball or what have you. The other cool thing I like about this is you can lock it so that it won't go anywhere, but then if you need to change it, you turn this little locking piece right here and push down, and it comes undone. Now if you really don't like this mounting system, this quick locking system, for lack of a better term, I just threw that off the ground. It also has the footprint to be used with any kind of mounts, like Arisaka or whatever, or the Thorntail. You could use this on this flashlight. That's what's cool about it, is it has the same footprint as your regular Surefire flashlight, so you can use any Surefire mount on this one. So the way this goes, this has 3 modes. As an off, turn it to the left, you have white. Turn it to the right from off is IR. Unlike the Surefire lights where the whole head actually twists, this has a little ring, a little locking ring. So if you remember on the Surefire, when you turn the head, it actually turns the hole onto the LED diode. So it moves that hole from the visible diode to the IR diode. The way this works is, as you saw before, it has the visible LED, the white light LED in the middle, and on the side of it, it has the two IR diodes on it next to it, right? So what I've noticed is with the visible light, when you shine it, you'll see later when I take it outside, it's gonna have not 2 shadows, but like a very, very faint shadow on it. It's kind of hard to tell, but you'll see it. You'll see it up close. You'll see the 2 little shadows on there, but then like at further distances, or even just like within like 10-20 meters, it's going to be there, but it's going to be kind of hard to notice. So if you're using this in a scenario, it's going to be kind of you're not really going to notice it, for lack of a better term. But that's a different way to, I guess, to make the light heads so that you can switch between the two. It's a different design. So moving on to the Surefire M952V. So this one I didn't buy by myself. I actually was gifted this from a friend at work because he obviously doesn't need it anymore, so he gave it to me. These utilize the KM3 heads. So this is the older model of the M952V. They don't make these anymore. The new M952Vs have this style of body. They're not like this one anymore. So looking online, these range from $150 to $270 used, and I've seen them go all the way up to $350 brand new for the old style like this. Weight of this is 232.5 grams, so it's a little bit of a chunker, little chunky boy. Material is an aerospace aluminum with mil-spec anodizing. That comes from the Surefire website. Country of origins in the good old US of A. This is where this thing kind of sucks. The visible light does a 150 lumen light at 1.8 hours, and the IR is 120 milliwatts at 7.25 hours. It uses two CR123A batteries, or just like this guy, I swapped it out for that 16650 battery, so it just uses one for chargeable. And this has weatherproof. The waterproofing it says weatherproof O-ring sealed and gasket sealed. So it's like water resistant, maybe waterproof. I wouldn't go diving with it, but if it's raining, you'll be good. So this one, like I said, uses regular Surefire pressure switches as a button, as well as the port for your little tail cap. The head, just like this one, it moves when you turn the head. As you can see, it's moving from, try to get a little closer, from IR to visible back to IR. Now, with these ones, there's only two modes. There's only a white light setting, and there's a IR setting, and that's it. So you have to be careful with using a pressure pad. These ones, the clicking on this, the switching, the click feels way more like legit, if that makes sense, compared to this one. This seems really like chintzy. But I've been rocking this. I rock this in conjunction with a Purse M952V, or correction, Jesus Christ. I run this with a Purse 4, and I haven't had issues with this. These are actually very, very great illuminators. I haven't had an issue with it, but I kind of want to give this one a try. So going through these three in comparison, I would say this one is really good if you're getting into airsoft, you're using it for airsoft with your cheapo Gen 1 or even Gen 2 night vision. These would be great because if you're using an airsoft, if it gets shot in the glass and breaks, you're not out a whole bunch of money. It's 72 bucks. You could buy a new one very easily. I wouldn't use this for any kind of home defense or even professional use because this probably will break in the field. I've shot this, so I mounted this on my 300 Blackout and went through probably 300 or 400 rounds with it, and it hasn't broken so far. But that's where you have the issue, is your Chinese-made flashlights, like crappy, cheapo Chinese flashlights, are going to have quality control issues. So I may have gotten a great one, and the next one I may buy could be a lemon. And you could shoot one round, and it just breaks and stops working. Not only that, but the circuitry, as well as like the soldering or whatever, could be very shoddy, and it could go out after two shots, 3 shots, what have you. So great for airsoft, not great for home defense or even professional use. Probably not good on a real steel live fire gun. For this one, I don't know about it yet. I haven't shot it yet. So, but as of right now, the weight feels great. I mean, I could use this. I would see this being used for fun recreational purposes, as in live fire guns. If you and the boys want to go out and do some nighttime shooting live fire drills, then sure, use this one. if you are on a budget and you have to purchase a purse, or like I do, or you have a civilian, you know, a D-ball I2, or a D-ball, a Civi D-ball A3, or even a, you know, some sort of Civi laser and the illuminator sucks, throw this bad boy on there. This will work for it. There's a reason why any kind of law enforcement or military agency doesn't use these, is because they're not tried and true yet. They're not really battle proven, for lack of a better term. And I don't think they'd want to, because there's no way to really prove the testing or anything like that. And they don't really have any kind of battle proven testing. Is this a great thing for you to start off with if you're getting into night vision? Sure. If you dropped all your cash on a Gen 3 night vision, then sure, this is a great way to get an IR illuminator for your laser device, and so that you can buy a cheaper IR designator, and you could put this to pair with it, and you have a strong IR illuminator. Keep in mind though, with these flashlights, they have a proprietary tail cap and a proprietary battery. So if the battery goes bad, you can't just buy a new one like you can with these two and just, you know, swap out the batteries, which are CR123As or the 16650 batteries. This one you have to go through Olight and get the specific battery made for this to replace it. On top of that, like I said, their cool magnetic tail caps are awesome, but they don't work with any other flashlight. You know, I can't link this up with my Steiner laser device or even my EOTech, you know, PEC 15. It's not going to work. So that's why, like I said, I'm trying to figure out a way I can get the wiring on this guy to work with one, so I can kind of daisy chain it in. So that's one of the issues you're going to have with this. Airsoft, sure, a little expensive for airsoft. Home defense or shitting around, running around at night with night vision and shooting at steel targets, LARPing, sure, absolutely. Mil-spec professional use, being on an ERT team and kicking in a door, serving a high-risk search warrant, probably not. This guy, Surefire M952V. It's great, it's good, it's tried and true. It's been used in combat, it's been used by military and law enforcement. This specific one, I would not get this older model because they have a newer, updated version of it. But what would I be used it for? Professional use, hands down. On a real steel gun, you can use this for, like I said, military or law enforcement, and they've been tried and true, and they use it. My patrol rifle, while it doesn't use this one, it uses the real version of this one, which is the Scout Light. So Surefire is a tried and true company. It still remains probably the #1 choice for any kind of light for any real military or law enforcement utilization. I would use this, like I said, for professional use. You can use it for airsoft, but if you break the glass from a BB, you have to run the risk of having to dish out more money or send it back to be replaced and dish out money for the repairs, which are going to be probably more than what it would cost to buy one of these off eBay. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do, I'm probably going to have to film it another day, is the nighttime visual under nods. And we'll go ahead and switch to that. I'm going to go step out onto the deck, and then we'll do that. All right. All right, guys. So as you can see, we're out on my deck. It's pretty pitch black out here. There's the windows. It's pretty pitch black out here. So I'm going to show, first off, the visible light. So we're using the TGPUL M600V, which is a 400 lumen light. Right over there, as you see, that's approximately about 10 yards from where we're standing. We're going to move over to here and then flash it further out, right down there. So keep in mind, for the eye, it's even harder to see. The camera has a little bit of a better focus. That's over there. That's probably about 15 yards. Then down over there is probably about, I would say 20 to 25 yards away. I'd probably say 20. Then over there, down that way, is a little bit, that one's like probably about 50 yards right over there. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the This is the Olight Odin. So again, right in, there you go. So low, 200 meters or 200 lumens. That's the 10 yards. That's the high for 1,000. Go out to the 16 yards. See how that's a really bright spill, or kind of a light spill, but still pretty good. That's 200. That's 1,000. Then moving out to the 25 or the 50. That's the 200, and that's 1,000. You can really see down that way. Last but not least is the M952V. So again, this is the 10 yard. Say 15, right? 15 yard right there. Again, it's a little bit dimmer in the naked eye than it is on the actual camera. And then obviously 50 yards. It's kind of hard to see someone out that way. That'd be the 20-25. All right, so let's go ahead and equip night vision, and we're gonna go ahead and do a night vision run. All right, guys, so now we're gonna be doing the IR illuminator, going based off of using my PVS-14. I run usually, well, the way I run is I run dual tube white phosphor PVS-14s. So this is give you some specs on it. This is a Elbit thin film PVS-14 and it's a white phosphor tube. So we're gonna go ahead and do it. Like I said, it's hard. Instead of refocusing, right there is 10 yards. Right there is about 15. Right there by that fence right there where my blurry finger is, that's 25. And I don't know if you just saw a little rabbit or raccoon run down there. And that house over there, right there, is about 50. So let's go ahead and get our first contender, which is the M600, the TGPUL M600V clone. So you see that shadow that I'm talking about right there? That's that shadow I was talking about, based off of the China branding illuminator. So it does the job. Let's go to the 15 yard. Yeah, you see really that shadow really starts to make a difference further out. Makes a big shadow. Over at the 25 yard. And then over at the 50 yard. So I know it's pretty pitch black out here, as you guys saw before, but obviously there's enough lighting to really night vision work. So this thing is kind of helps out, but not really. That really crappy dark spot there from the light, it's just because it shows how misaligned the heads are. We're gonna save the actual Odin Olight last. So next is the M952V. This one's pretty dang bright. Ooh, something's running in the woods there. I hear it. As you can see, pretty good illumination. Something's running like right over there past that tree. That's 10 yard. Let's go to the 15, 16 yard. And then last but not least, well, not last but not least, that's 25. And then the 50. What is over there? Okay. Last but not least is, it's a little blurry, sorry guys, the Odin. I wonder how this is gonna be. So low. Ooh, that's pretty cool. High. Oh, you can't really tell the difference, but it's weird. There's like a little circle in the middle. And you can see further out. This is the first time seeing this under nods, by the way. It's low. High. And then Or they're out at the 50. Go low and high. Maybe it's hard to see just because of how this is illuminating, but see if I could find maybe a darker spot. All right, sorry about that. We're gonna do the disconnected a little bit. So last but not least is we're doing the Odin IR. So that's low, high. I don't think you could tell based off, maybe if I turn the gain down. Oops, turn the gain down. There you go. You could probably tell with that. If I turn the gain down, so that's harder to see. Kind of see there's like a little circle there. Neighbor turned the light on, so it's a little bit hard to see now. But there it is, guys. Try to go down this way. It's a little darker out. That's low. And that's high. It's not a bad illuminator, actually. Give this a shot on some rifles and see how you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.